What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Andrew says, Tesla, wow. By the way, good morning, DJ. Uh, I'm an afterthought. I'm such an afterthought to that. Yeah, well, I get it though. That's a crazy move for Tessie. And then Elon Musk made me all tired today because he got an hour late start on the conference. Oh, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. But we got Anna and House. Good morning to you. Good morning to Andrew, Cheryl, Chris, Jay, Kevin, Lou, Martina, Mike, Peter. Good morning to Rick, Rob, all my people out in YouTube land. We got Jeffrey. Good morning. We got M Sky. Good morning to you. Good morning to all the lurkers in YouTube land, just sitting there, not commenting anything. It's okay. I still love you. Hit that like and subscribe button. Now we got Jeremy in YouTube land. Good morning to you as well. We'll start with SPY, we'll start with Qs, and then we'll get to some robots. We'll talk some robots for a little bit, but we got this SPY is yesterday did what we kind of thought it was gonna do. We also had PPI today. I know, who cares? It's that's not Elon, that's not Tesla, that's not a weird minivan thing, but we had PPI today. Essentially came in line, not much reaction from the market, so we'll throw some attention to the jobs and see what happens there. But we survived PPI, at least. We survived CPI, although that was a little hot yesterday. And last day of the week, I think we have a few Fed speakers today on the list. I think we got three of them speaking today, so just watch out for those time frames. And we've seen the consumer, what is it, consumer sentiment out of Michigan. The last few Fridays have moved the market. That comes out at 10 a.m. today. So we have had reactions from that. So maybe we get another one today. So that's on the agenda for today. But otherwise, SPY yesterday, inside day candle, not really too much action, just a little bit back and forth. We kind of said great breakout day on Wednesday. Probably the market wants to rest a little bit, especially with uh, not supporting CPI numbers that kind of came out yesterday. Maybe we're still in that chop, but I have my resistance at 576.85. I'm looking for support at 575.53. Tesla's a big part of SPY, so the fact that we're actually gapping up a little bit with that with that unfortunate gap down on Tesla is still showing a little strength in the market with some individual names that are kind of coming down a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see if we can break the upside, but for right now, I think be a little patient, probably at the open for the entire market, and then we'll see if there's some individual names that have a different story. But for most stocks, I would say just chill out a little bit. If we come down, let's see if we can get back into that closing spot. If that's any type of, that's not too far away, but 576.19. You got your opening price. You don't really want to see that getting taken out, but 575.77. And if we have a straight wash out of the gate, look for that 575.53 to hold. Otherwise, to the high side, not huge range, but I think I'd still want to be more bullish than bearish, just because the overall trend is. And yesterday, yeah, it was a little bit choppy, but I think I'd still want to. I think we have a good shot to maybe break out. If I think we have a better shot of breaking out than kind of collapsing today, but we'll see what happens. Qs. Paul, good morning to you. David Cook speaks in the house. Good morning to you as well. Qs, so they're a little bit of a gap down again. The likes of Tesla. Also, AMD had a big move yesterday as well. So they had their conference. I thought the conference was pretty good for AMD, but I think Nvidia's, what do they got? The Blackwell products or whatever. Don't get me into chips because I don't. You're talking to the wrong person. But I think the overall sentiment, obviously, AMD kind of just dropped like a rock yesterday during the conference as it was going on with their new product. The new product is competing with the older, almost technology. So it's like the best in class of the old technology when Nvidia is kind of almost light years ahead already onto the next generation of stuff. So I think that kind of disappointed the market a little bit for AMD shareholders. We'll see. But overall, I think the conference was good. I think it is a solid product. I don't see anything like that's the end of AMD. I just think it was a little bit underwhelming for what I think investors were looking for. So you did have a big drop there. So AMD is pulling down the Qs. Tesla's also in the queue, so that's going to pull it down a little bit. So you still have a gap we're still inside yesterday's candle. More importantly, we're inside Wednesday's candle. We haven't broke really one way or the other besides a mini little bull trap. So watch that bull trap, see what happens on that one. The other thing too is we do have now yesterday's VPOC and Wednesday's VPOC. So we're gonna have two levels of resistance above us, and it's not too far away. So 492.23 is our first one, 492.85 is our secondary resistance. Those are the ones we're gonna want to clear. So we don't have a lot of room to the upside if we think those resistance holds, and that's going to be a strong resistance. We actually do have a little bit more room to the downside on Qs, 489.64. So again, we have a little almost divergence from SPY and Qs a little bit. Obviously, we have a good trend. We have a potential double top. You're going to get a little probably resistance, fear, reaction, people selling to targets into that zone. Makes sense, and we'll see if we'll see which way this wants to go. But again, probably an inside day. I don't see too much reaction unless consumer sentiment comes out in a certain way or the Fed speakers say anything. But we are in blackout period from Jerome Powell. We're not going to hear from Jerome Powell till after the election, so we're not going to get really probably anything crazy or change of policy or anything like that for quite some time. But Q's just kind of chilling. All right, let's get to Tesla. All right, here's my question to you guys. The current price of Tesla, free market, $223.04. Let's say you're a long-term investor. Type a 1 in the chat if this is a price you would be interested in buying Tesla. Type a 2 if this is not an interesting price for you to buy Tesla. So Georgia says 1, Lou says 1, Chris says 1, Jay says no, Joe says 1, Mike says 1, Andrew's got the 2 going, he's not interested, Jeff's not interested, or Jeff is interested. I'm seeing a lot more 1s and 2s. I think the product was cool. I like the robots. I'm not sure exactly if they were fully like real robots. I know they're not humans in costumes anymore, which is cool. The movements were awesome. I don't know if they were completely on their own or being controlled a little bit. I'm thinking. Joe says 2. The I thought the robo taxi was cool. You walk up, the doors open. That was fun. And then that bus thing, what is it called? The robo bus something. That was cool. Fits 20 people. It looks. I mean, I was like, wow, that's it looks crazy. So I think the products were there. I think the products are on point. I think the products are still a little far away from like those were all prototypes. So I think the products are a little bit far away from production. And then the conference itself was just a little like that was it. Like there wasn't a lot of detail. I think he threw out some random dates, but then even admitted himself like I'm pretty over aggressive in terms of when I think things can be ready by. So but he was throwing out like 2025, 2026 numbers. The bus he said that was probably a little bit further out. So they have some cool things, and I think some of it starts getting us away from, and I think that's been the battle for Tesla. Do you evaluate this as a car company or a tech company? I think we've pushed ourselves a little bit further away from it's a car company, but yet today's numbers are still all based on the cars they sell. So uh I don't know. Longer term though, if you do think this is like I'm interested. I kind of if this thing does continue down further, I might start to finally nibble on a few shares of Tesla because I think longer term, probably decent. Mike's got a great idea, put sales. I like it. I like some put sales. Uh interim car, long-term tech company. Yeah, and then they do have a lot of opportunity to license some of the products and technology and things like that too. So I think Tesla's probably in a good shape. It's just when the price is at or was at 250, the price was higher than that before, not based on the actual financials. And that's been my biggest problem of why I don't have Tesla in the long term. I'm looking at the numbers and I'm like, man, this company's got to really grow. and they do have some more opportunities. So we'll see how it kind of develops. But interesting. More people are interested in buying at this price than not, though. Yearly pockets down at the 180. Yeah, I think if we get back to the 180, that's probably where I prefer to nibble on shares. Take a stab somewhere in that range. I think uh, 10 years from now, do I think the price is higher than 222? I think it probably is. But if I can get it a little margin of safety on those shares, I think I'd be down for that. Otherwise, we got Tesla almost into the 100, so possible bounce spot. This is also a retest gap. That's kind of cool. Most of you people said one as opposed to two, so most of you guys are interested in buying as opposed to selling. So now we got that indicator going too. I'm just gonna do that with every stock. Be like, what do you guys think? One or two? If we get more ones than two, we're just buying everything at open. You have a little bit of support, I guess, kind of at 221.41. It's essentially where we're at now. Um, I would like, and again, I don't know how this stock is going to open. It's probably going to be wild for most of the day. I mean, there's got to be people that went short here. Question is, did they cover shares pre-market or after hours? But I think there's got to be people in this thing short. You had a good gap down to do so. Heading into today, even with the theory of just buy the rumor, sell the news type situation, I would love to see this thing drop a little bit further down into this 217.36 range. Let's see if we got there though pre-market. We didn't. Yeah, so let's see if this thing could get a little bit of a immediate pullback, come down a little bit further. Let me see if I got some volume zones on the side. We're starting to get into a little bit of volume here. All right, maybe we could get to like 214. And I got a couple more levels down there. Let's look for like 214, 215. If I could get down there, I think that's a decent spot to look for some kind of a bounce. Yeah, let's look at that monthly candle too. Yeah, most of this candle, we're still living inside of it though for now. 214, 215, and the 215 range is going to take me right at the beginning of last month. So again, maybe some buyers start coming in there. I do think this is a fadeable gap. I think this one probably ends up getting bought up to some extent. I don't know about for the long term. I think more trade than anything. But you're at an interesting buy spot now. If we could get open up, get some panic selling, some immediate like, oh my goodness, what's going on with Tesla? I need to sell everything. If that happens, I think I'd be a little more interested. But if we also get an interesting candle pattern somewhere down here, I would be interested too. So definitely going to be high on the list. I think volatility is going to be insane on this one. I prefer, especially after that gap down, it's a pretty big one, to go long as opposed to short. So I'm looking to figure out how to get bullish on this one, but I would be okay pulling the trigger on a buy on that one. Emily says I'll probably be getting put shares of Tesla at 225. I have 7 days left though. 7 days. Yeah, we saw a $20 drop in 7 hours. So we'll we'll see how we'll see. I don't know. Put sale out of the gate and buy back in the first 30 minutes. Yeah, I think that might be the strat, especially if we get some kind of a pullback too. I'm with you on the put sale. I think that's a good approach. I think those are going to be pretty highly priced at the open. Let's see what else we got. We got Nvidia. M. Scott says, "What do you think of all the call options being bought for March on Nvidia?" I don't put. I don't know. I don't know. Typically, I don't put. I'm guessing you're going off of some whale report or a lot of contracts for Nvidia. That would give us what three? So it's about 6 months out. So they're giving themselves some time. Um, it's very tough to tell and decipher exactly why people are buying call options, right? So we're obviously going to have some earnings reports come out. If you have some people going, hey, look, Nvidia is pretty much at all-time highs. We're a little off of it, but we're fairly in that range. Um, and they're shorting here because we're so high up and the market's high, and then we're gonna get through election by that point. We might have in December some people probably trying to maybe take some profits. Um, so maybe some people might be getting short here, and then they're using the calls as hedges. That happens. Or the other shoe is they're just extremely bullish. They're like, hey, you know what? We got that we by March we fit in two different earnings. That gives us enough time to recuperate. So I wouldn't put too much weight into a certain date, high level of calls. It's very tough because people are using options to hedge. That being said, you do have earnings coming out not too far away. We got November 14th, so about a month from now, roughly. And it looks pretty good. They just came in with they got an upgrade, I think, from JP Morgan today as well, but it was from like 145 to 150, so a little bit of an upgrade, nothing too crazy. And again, I love when they get the upgrades when they're already close to all-time highs, and that was legit a $5 upgrade to Nvidia, which could move $5 in a day. So who really knows? Who really knows? Right now, I'd be looking for some more continuation bullish. It looks decent. You do have your first little, and I think we have two spots of resistance on this one. Great day yesterday, bullish engulfing candle. Obviously, we're gapping down a little bit. We're also gapping into support. This might be a buy right out of the gate today. Look for resistance somewhere around 135.64. If we could get through that, I do have this level 137.48 arbitrary line that I drew, probably based off some volume. I'm not sure exactly where it came from, but I'm going to use it because it's on my chart. So I must have did it for a reason. And then that would probably take us up to, and I'd feel pretty confident about getting to really 139.73. The other thing too is they don't have to hold those options until expiration, right? So even if you do get some kind of a break into the highs, you get up to like 139.73, 140, we'll call it. You could start selling some of those, cover your positions if you do start breaking out. Those contracts will go absolutely crazy. So because they got March doesn't exactly mean that they're absolutely bullish into March. So, and then you have AMD, which got clobbered yesterday. So that's good sympathy or inverse sympathy on Nvidia because they're not really competing. Nvidia is in a class of its own. So we'll see. JP Morgan did mention them, and then Jeff's like, yeah, what about them? Do they upgrade themselves? JP Morgan is hanging out. So just inside day. You can't love the fact that you are below yesterday's open, below yesterday's close, but we're still in that price action. I would say it is a little bit more bearish for now, but even yesterday's gap kind of was a retest gap too. So I'm not going to put too much weight on the short side of things. You do have some kind of support around 211.60 if you want to try to go long. Even if you break through yesterday's low, look out for some kind of support somewhere around 210.77. So not a whole lot of room to the downside, at least on a smaller time frame. But probably some buyers might start stepping in again. We could retest probably this 210.92 zone. But that was a good candle yesterday. I would say as long as we don't break down this candle, not from yesterday, but from 2 days ago, Thursday or Wednesday, my bad. If we start breaking underneath that candle after that breakout, we had a little bit of volume coming in, nothing too crazy, but then I think you get that bigger pullback and it's more ready for a short down to probably 205.01. That's just not a zone that's been retested quite yet. Otherwise, I'd still stay neutral to slightly on the bullish side after that candle from Wednesday. They had earnings this morning. Yeah, so earnings came out. We do have the numbers. They did beat by 9.5% earnings per share. They beat by an extra 1.873 billion. Not a bad day, and they're not really getting in the rally from it. So, yeah, either we're just digesting, or I'd stay again, probably a little bit neutral until bullish. Intel. So I'm in this one. I got triggered yesterday for a swing trade. Right now it's just hanging out. Yesterday's VPOC came in at 23.27. What I wanted to see on this one, I was I was hoping we gap up on a CPI, and then we came back, got filled on the retest. We got filled on the breakout, so we'll see. It still looks good. We're still inside this candle. If this candle breaks down, cool, get me out anyway. What I don't love at the moment on INTC is the fact now you got three levels up here. So we are going to have to get back to essentially break even, get a close above our price. That would start taking us up to 23.61, 23.88. And then if we get breakthrough that, I think we're good on target. So I still like to trade. We still have that 20 EMA that's going to kind of save us, push us up a little bit. We're probably going to need the market not to collapse during this trade to make some money, but we want to see some closing today, today, Monday, Tuesday, above our entry, and then I think we are set right. Otherwise, we got filled on the retest, which is right into the resistance, as opposed to gapping up, getting filled on that retest, which I was hoping we could do. But we'll see. For right now, kind of just chilling. Looks a little bit more bearish and bullish at the moment, just with the resistance so close to us. To the downside, look for some kind of support around 22.88, and we'll go from there on that one. Let's see what else we got. APP. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. APP. APP. Applovin. I've been going nuts. Mm-hmm. It's been growing a lot over the last month. What do you think of it? Well, I don't think I could get a bullish position here. It's just not my style. If you were already in this thing, fantastic. When we were down here, this is back in January 2023. Crazy move, crazy move. Why does this look a little like Palantir chart? I don't know. I don't know. I up at these levels, there's no resistance. At some point, uh, you're gonna have to pay the piper. He's gonna probably retest a little bit. Look for support on this one somewhere around 131.82. But yeah, right now it looks like it probably continues more bullish. I'm not gonna do it. I can't take a play like that. You got earnings coming out soon. We'll see if we can make it through those earnings. But these guys, they do all the, like, if you're on your phone, you see like the mobile apps, or not the mobile apps, but or if you're on an app, you'll see like an advertisement, things like that. I can't imagine a company that sells advertising during a political season is not going to make any kind of money. So I'm sure that's going to help. We'll see what happens after the election, but probably a decent report comes out on the 6th, November 6th. Probably good earnings is my guess. I don't know if the stock will continue to go up after that though, because it's got to be priced in. I would assume mostly everything is probably priced into that. So we'll see from there. Uh M Reyes says, what about Oxy S curving? Yeah, kind of hanging out a little bit. Again, good double bottom. We did make a slight new lower low on that pivot. However, strong rebounds, new higher high. So we'll see if this is going to be a new higher low and wants to kind of bounce out of here. But it does have a little bit of an S curve to it. Almost a three bar reversal down here. You still got this gap fill, so look for your next price target, at least 55.98. That would be my next kind of, hey, we just at least fill the gap. I think longer term, again, I think it's going to be fine. I don't think Oxy goes out of business. With higher oil prices, a lot of the other oil companies will benefit because they have locked in longer term future dates. So as the price goes up, they actually make more money. Oxy has a different structure, so they don't have the longer term contracts. So the higher oil prices actually kind of affect them a little bit more. So interesting how they're set up. It's just a little bit different than some of the other oil companies. Other than that, you're gonna have to we're still in a deep downtrend. I don't think we really broke out of it yet. So we got this, we got this. That would take targets up to, depending on how quickly we get it, almost into where I have my target line, maybe a slightly smidge higher, 57, 58. And then if we get through that, next target 60, probably pull back. and then look for a longer term break on it. Other than that, decent. If you're in this one, you could probably get your stops up maybe a little bit. I'd probably still wait, be patient, but see if this thing wants to chop around. As you start getting close to this 55.94, that's when I would probably raise my stops up a little bit on it. Uber, yeah, Uber's popping a little bit from the graces of Elon Musk's presentation yesterday. Um they would be the benefactor if Elon takes forever and maybe people don't like so much the robotaxi. I don't think the product was bad. But that gives some safety and some more time to Uber. So nice little gap on that one. That is a big retest gap. You had a few days of buying into this, and then you also have kind of at all-time highs. I think we're at our last possible resistance from around 81.33. So, most likely, I think pulls back. I don't know if we've come all the way back. I don't think we're going to retest 77.85. You're going to have a whole bunch of support into this one, but I think you make it at least down to $80.19. And then if we get a roughly hard sell, I think 79.05 for retest, but they're getting the sympathy from Tesla for sure. We got Frog on the list. I haven't seen Frog in a minute. You feeling froggy? You could play this one. Good gap up. Was there news on this one? J Frog. I never knew they had a J in front of it. Rises on report saying company has attracted takeover interests. Somebody wants to buy the frog. Okay. You really don't have any more volume holding you back from this one. This is probably a buy the dip. See if this one pulls back. Let's see if you can get a dip on this one. Look for support around $30.86, and then I think you probably get some kind of continued bounce. You start to have resistance on this one coming in around $32. I think it's got a decent short float to it, if I'm not mistaken. But bigger, longer term targets, maybe get up to this 33.57. I just read a quick headline, so I don't know too much on the actual takeover deal, but see if there was a price thrown out there. If you're very close to it or at that price, then it's not worth the chase. But retest gap, I think this one will pull back. Look for that $30.91 zone, probably to try to establish a long if you're going to try to take it. DJT. DJT. No, that's the bill. Donald J. Trump is gapping up. That's a retest gap. See if this one wants to pull back. You are above the 100, so that's good, but that's one heck of a 2-week period for that stock. So probably a little profit taken out of the gate. Otherwise, everybody on YouTube land, you guys are also make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe buttons. You guys are also